issues that are percolating currently, we take a look at them and say, well, maybe we should keep an eye on this one, this one, this one, and then it breaks out.
Maybe input, right?
Right, exactly.
I agree. And I'm not sure, Glenn, that I agree that there's a caving to the chairs being full. I think it's interesting, I mean, we did have several items that were there full room. But I know that for my own personal vote, it was my own personal opinion based on a review and the timing. So I'm not sure it was really a caving. I think we just made an opinion. But that's just one person's opinion, to quote Dan Mulligan.
I'm gonna harp on the agenda thing. We may need some deeper agendas some months in certain meetings. We might need 3 or 4 issues we're going to talk through because that's our best way to alert people. I think we do get in trouble, not in a bad way, but we just miss some things we had on. That's all. And I know we're just trying to move things along and be fast and be efficient. So I just have to come back. But we're looking at the legal budget here. So we have legal services, and then we have professionals and contracts litigation. Is that also legal, professionals and contracts litigation line, the 62 or 61,850?
What are you looking at?
So I'm on page 1.
Litigation.
Under litigation,
Right.
we've got legal services at 47,1, and then we've got professional contracts litigation 61,850. Is that also legal, or is that professionals?
That's the kind of nation you were talking about.
She's building
You
a
have
settlement.
miscellaneous committee meetings.
I just want to talk through those numbers.
You want to talk through what makes up the 61,850?
Okay, the first one, 47,1, the first ask.
Right.
That's for Steve Goodell's law firm
Right.
budget, right?
That went up slightly for the Whitleys.
No, that's fine. No, I just want to understand
I
where
thought
the
you wanted
money.
me to tell you why.
No, where the money. Okay, so at the end of the day, that's Steve Goodell's law firm.
Mhm.
So the 5,400 is going to, when we say professionals committee meeting, what's that, for when it comes to committee meetings? When we go to the 61,850s, professionals contracts litigation, what is that specifically, your work? Like,
Litigation, pastoral, the condemnation
Okay.
hearing, anything that's litigation.
personnel litigation, 5,000, what's that?
Just personnel, any personnel issues that we might have that pop up, that
Okay.
we would need legal advice on.
Okay. So really the big hit is the litigation, that's what it comes down to.
Right,
Right.
As
the
we go through it
litigation,
all.
yeah.
So at the
We only
end,
have
But
number
it's-
5 for police service.
That's for police
Okay.
grievances. We didn't use
Next
it
page,
last
that's on
year.
the next page.
yeah,
We didn't use it last year, but I have to have it in there in case because
right.
it could be something.
So litigation is beyond our control typically, right? It is what it is, that number moves. I guess what I'm trying to come back to out of this conversation is the top line, we're at 47,1. Back in 2011, we were at 65. So we're still, at the end of the day, spending far less on legal services in that area with our controllable legal expenses.
Yeah, and one other thing with litigation, if in fact we're not on the hook for the 30,000 for that, then that goes back into the till too.
Which is fine too, yeah.
The only thing I would say on the legal services is the 47 based on the WIT cost forward? as
It's
far as
based on anything they work on that's contractual, any ordinances they work on, any OBRA, any legal advice questions. He asked for 50,000, I brought it down based on what we've spent.
And I would say, being that the increase that we might have in the litigation on the 61, I would be more comfortable with a 45, which takes it back to the 2012. You know, 39,000, it's more than the 39,000 for last year, but I mean, unless we're expecting in 2014 to have a more litigated year under current issues that may cross over into 14, and that's my only comment.
This 39.6, does that include the whole year, or are we still missing a month or two with this?
No, that's the whole year.
Yeah.
I agree with Dave. I think 45 is unreasonable.
And we're 20,000 below our 2011 spend, so I mean, we're still doing a much better job than we were.
And it still gives them, what, around 6,000 more than last year.
I mean, we're not going to be negotiating more parking spots with the Whits. We're not going to hopefully have some of the issues that we've talked about.
No, but things do come up.
Well, yeah, there'll be
Believe it
other
or not.
issues.
It could have been projected this year.
Every year.
That's really good.
There'll be things, well, certainly there'll be things. That's why you can't get rid of everything, but I can't imagine.
25 is
Yeah,
fine.
the year is.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, change it to 45.
What's next?
What's next, Denise?
Okay, so back to the summary sheets. Engineering, there's an increase.
Actually, I just had a question. Can, maybe talk about this offline, but I'm surprised by $5,000 spent on police grievances last year.
We encumbered it, we didn't
Oh.
actually spend it.
Okay, but
We didn't spend anything on grievances last year.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I
Yeah,
thought
we
they were
encumbered
taking-
it, we didn't spend it, but, you know, you never know, things change, chiefs change, staff changes, whatever, there could be some reasons.
No, that's fine, I just, you had an actual
It
number.
looks like it's an
5,000.
actual.
Yeah, that it includes encumbered, on this sprint, I don't make this sprint, I come from that, they include encumbered.
Yeah, historically, there has been a spend, so you have to have something in your budget, otherwise you're completely running naked.
Yeah, we did spend $47.60 in 2012, and that's
Right.
actual spend.
And the point also I want to make is, we spent 10,000, or put 10,000 in the budget back in 2011.
Right.
We're budgeting half of what we were budgeting 3 years ago, so, you know, we're doing a good job there.
Okay, so,
Engineering.
engineering, so that's right beyond your legal, you don't even really need to flip back to the pages, I can tell you why it went up. The Brainerd Lake Dam project, it's taking up more time than Bill anticipated. Bill is my engineer that estimates on the low side all the time. And he should say, it's gonna take me this much time.
And then surprises that it's less.
Right, and then surprises if it's less, but instead he likes to come in low. And so after now dealing with it this year, he said, you know what, I'm gonna need a little more time on it, so just give me a little extra money for it. And
Well,
so
and
it's
to
only
that point, too,
$3,300.
And being the liaison with it, is that the involvement of Bill at the municipal level will be less and less as that project goes further and further along. I mean, it's almost a third over, so I would say
Yeah.
3,000 is minimal, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, we've also got beautification coming up.
Absolutely, again, the condemnation, he's got to be at the hearings, we have that coming up.
Safe schools, you know,
Safe
great, we're
schools,
gonna have
yes.
conversations out there. We're gonna be doing work out on Plainsboro Road,
Yes.
it's gonna be involved in that, so yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot going on.
But the beauty of all those essentially is that they are, we have an idea of what they're going to involve, there's no sort of question mark right at the beginning of any of those
Right.
projects.
Right.
Okay? Okay, so we're just sticking to the positive ones, so we can skip down, and we're gonna go to planning and the negative, okay, zoning. This past year, we had a lot going on in zoning.
Really?
And so if you flip back to your professionals tab, go beyond your legal and engineering and planning, you'll come to zoning. So it's pretty much towards the back of that tab. That's where the request will be for zoning from Josette's and board.
Is that up to planning board?
Yeah, it's after planning, it's really the last bunch.
Planning board, there's no change, you're saying?
No, planning board is okay. There was actually a difference.
Okay.
And it's in litigation. If you look at litigation, it goes from 5,000 to 30,000.
Let me find the line.
Second page of the zoning board budget.
Yeah, I think it was, I'm still planning, hold on.
Yeah, I'm still not there, yet. Okay, got it.
Is that the professional control legal zoning 5,000?
Yeah, the fourth one down.
I can't believe,
Litigation.
I can't believe we're still flipping through binders in 2014. This is driving me nuts.
You want everybody to get an iPad? Well,
okay.
or a tablet?
The trend is BYOD, bring your own device. We provide the data, you have to bring your own device.
Well, we're going to be talking to Capital about the Wi-Fi situation here too.
This is my device.
That's
I was going to echo Glenn's comment because I bought an iPad Air thinking, oh, this is great, it's the most modern thing. And then I ended up leaving it at home and using a notepad with pen and paper.
You know, when
You got
those
Microsoft
boys of yours
Surface.
are like 3 years old, they'll be doing
Oh,
this.
my daughter grabbed my iPad. She uses it more often than I do.
So what's the anomaly then on the budget?
Litigation.
Litigation.
Litigate, I can tell you, I may have the wrong page. It's
That's the
page one.
30,000?
Go to page 2. What's
Page 2, page 1 says zoning board of adjustments, page 2 starts with office supply.
Go down to litigation.
Got it, okay.
There you go.
Oh, you're good.
Okay,
Okay, I got it.
That's
Thank you.
$30,000.
Why don't we just say no?
So what did we actually spend last year? Let's see.
Actual spent on litigation, so this was October,
2473.
and I hadn't even transferred it.
Is that 2473 correct?
Let me find zoning, now that's from September,
Oh,
so you can't look at that sheet, let me find.
oh,
Yeah.
so that's not a correct thing.
Just so we were all aware, I'm figuring out a way to put a big giant inflatable snow girl on.
Nice.
Better have a lot of lights though, else I don't want to
Yeah.
look at
Yeah.
it.
I had an engineering
Funny,
assessment.
Jay, this is not even a funny conversation.
Okay, zoning, litigation. This category,
That's a lot of, 30,000
legal.
You're from 5,000 to 30 is a lot.
Well, even the year that we had, the last year we had, it was 21,000 expenses.
Where are you seeing that at?
2012.
No,
Okay.
Yeah,
So we were 13 behind budget that year.
we spent, it looks like 12,000 in litigation, but all the bills are not in. Zoning is like 3 months behind on their bills.
Would that roll up that First Amendment issue? or
They have to, it was all no, it was all the special meetings they had with the different applicants.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, that's the other count.
It was supposed to be one meeting a month, they were really running closer to two each month.
there's a lot going on. I mean, it wasn't only the amendment, right? There's also land acquisition issues.
Well, and I'm okay with that, it seems just fine. The anomaly to me is that First Amendment issue. If we
Just so
expect
you know,
that
they
to-
asked for 50,000.
We
I
spent what?
bumped it down to 30.
We've also got the other religious facilities.
Right, those land acquisition
Right.
issues.
We were in a lot of trouble this year with this budget. I'm gonna tell you, in 2012, we had to move money in to cover stuff. This year, I had to move money in to cover stuff. We do not put enough money with everything that's going on right now in litigation.
And this is only zoning, this isn't even planning.
This is just zoning. Well, planning's supposed to be quiet as far as litigation goes.
Yeah, and
That's
it
very,
is,
it's very different.
yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of quiet.
Sorry.
Let the record show that something is going on at the Marabella.
No, it's not my house. I don't know who it is.
It's a zoning board member.
They heard they were cutting their budget.
Calling it in.
So here, I have to pause and ask a question. Is there any thing going on with zoning as far as getting quorums over the last year due to membership not being able to
Yes.
show up for meetings?
Yes.
They were having problems.
Does that extend the number of meetings? Does that?
Here, I turned it.
Well, each time, if there's no advanced indication that they're gonna not make a form, and an applicant comes in with a whole entourage of professionals, and all of a sudden they look around and realize they're not a quorum, obviously that's a negative impact on the applicant, and another hearing has to be scheduled. Sometimes, if Josette polls the members, she'll give a day or two notice, in which case they can call the applicant and tell them,
Meetings
you know,
canceled.
it's off. Now, without going into too much detail, we've done some research on this, and what we discovered is that apparently we don't have bylaws. And what we need are bylaws that say you must meet a certain percentage of the meetings, or you must attend X number of meetings. Somehow it's got to be expressed that every member of that board has to be there for a certain number of meetings each year, and if they're not, they can be removed. So we're gonna have to work on those bylaws, try to get them enacted this year so that we can track that and weed out some of the folks who aren't showing up.
That's a good
Madam Clerk,
idea.
you had circulated back in 2010 a document that everybody had to sign from different boards stating that they were going to be meeting X number of meetings. It wasn't just zoning and planning, it was parks and rec and everything else.
I believe in our township code, there is a mandate that when it comes to the township's boards, committees, and/or commissions, that the board chairs are supposed to report to the township committee if a particular member of said board misses, I believe the number is 3 consecutive meetings, because then the township committee, as the governing body who makes appointments, has to remove that person.
So there is something in?
There, yes.
I was told differently, but I'll look into it.
Oh, I can, that's no problem. I'll be happy to.
Consecutive, so you're also
It
talking.
may be different, planning and zoning may be different, they're based on different statutes, they're governed by different rules, and Glenn may be correct in the fact that there needs to be bylaws. They're not necessarily township board or committee, because they're.
Right, they're on the land use.
Because of the land use law? Okay.
I don't know for sure.
Well, there's
So
also
let me
the issue
find
of
it.
this
I'll find the
consecutive.
part mark
It's still a
first.
problem if you
We'll
miss
start
every other one.
Yes,
you know,
it's a problem.
Because I think that's not fair to the applicant when they show up and there's a minimum number of board members.
Right.
And it makes it much more difficult to,
Mhm.
you know, to present a case and get a vote.
Well, actually, that's a good point, because there also have been situations where they had a quorum, but in some situations, an applicant needs 5 favorable votes. Sometimes when their attorney looks up here and they see only 6 members, they're not willing to proceed, you know, because it
It's too risky.
means it's more difficult for them to get those 5 votes.
Quick question, and let's use last year as a benchmark. If you rolled up everything that we spent last year, including the First Amendment thing and all the other collateral issues, what does that come in, you think, in a dollar amount?
About $30,000.
About 30,000. So my feeling is who knows what happens. I mean, I would say that I would go with a $20,000 number for 14, and if we have another sort of anomaly here, then that's what happens. I mean, it sounds like in the previous years you've had to allocate more monies over, is what you said earlier.
Yeah.
What was our total spend for 2012?
Was, well, in litigation, it was
47.
20, in litigation for zoning, it was 20,477.
All right, so I'm just hesitant to say.
Just keep in mind, they asked for 50.
Yeah,
And
Right,
that's based
but-
on what's out there. And I'm not in charge of legal for zoning, as a different attorney, and they spend a lot of time on things.
Is that summary in there what we're asking for?
It should be, ahead of zoning, I think, Trish put something with planning and split them up.
So you're saying instead of the 30, go to 20 days, is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah,
So
because
here is
10
zoning,
times more than 5 is
zoning
great.
for litigation, 50,000 to cover the pending lawsuit by Stazinos, as well as any other potential litigation, such as Shaw, Jack, etc.
Where is the sheet?
It's behind your planning budget, which Trish can combine both planning and zoning together, and it's just an email.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, I mean, again, I had there's the question of if you budget, will they spend it?
Right.
Well, that may be true in some cases, but I can tell you, if the board chairs aren't watching the attorney will spend it, and I will be scrambling around to find money to pay it.
But then-
Once they spend it, I have to pay it.
But then it's our issue, not the attorney's issue. It's our issue that we need management of the professions.
Right, and it's back to what we were talking about earlier, but I agree. I mean, if they think, I think that whole Shaw issue was an anomaly, and if they carry on issues like that every year, there's something wrong anyway.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I
not
don't,
sure Jed is an anomaly though.
no, I'm not saying that, but I mean, I don't know what we spent on Shaw alone, but I'm sure it was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so I would say, 20,000 to start, which is 4 times what,
Yeah.
and then if it goes over, then we have to review it, and it gets back to that oversight issue.
And this is an opinion here, when you look at things like Shaw and Stassios, they were manageable, just the people that managed them, that's what they ended up spending. So, but I understand what you're saying, we can trim that back, they are anomalies.
Now, then the other side of it is too, is that, I think every professional, they should have value and they provide it, but I mean, if it becomes where they only become valuable if they're getting paid, no matter what the issue is, no matter what the feeling is about. I have a problem with that too, and that gets back to just what we've talked about, the health of just complacency can ruin it. If you're in a position for a long time, complacency can set in, and there can always be this feeling, well, I've charged for this in the past, I'll just charge for it now. And so, there's a whole lot of different things. I don't want to get into it here, but I think starting with 20,000, which is 4 times more than what we had for last year, right, is.
I think that's a fair comment, and we tell them up front, your budget is 20,000 for me.
They know what it is, but when the board is having them work on this stuff,
That's the problem.
But that's the issue, is that we need to say.
they knew it was 5,000 this year, but 5,000 wasn't gonna do it for what had to get done.
It's a state law.
That's the
All
problem.
right, so we got 4 times that, and just right out of the gate, so, which is their actual spend for 12 within 477. I think that's, if you even average the two, we're way, as a benchmark, I think we're coming out of the gate with a significant amount.
Who was the liaison to zoning?
I understand.
Yeah, I was last year, so I take accountability for it.
Because those invoices get approved by the zoning board, and they come to us for payment, and we pay them. I don't know if they're correct or incorrect, I don't know the issues that are going on with the zoning board. That is up to the zoning chair and I guess the liaison.
Yeah, and the issue was last year is that I was not, some of these issues, I was not able to kind of grab and influence. So the First Amendment issue was already started before, so there was nothing you could do to kind of get that ball stopped.
Yeah.
But there has to be, I think in that situation, there has to be better communication from all parties to the township committee liaison so that there can be discussion.
Well, I think there was an escalation that wasn't valid
Right.
from the legal side.
No, right, and exactly, but it didn't get to the township committee liaison, to whoever it was before, before I was in 2013. It didn't get to that person until after the legal and the zoning officer and everybody else had done their bits, and it was then too hard to try and manage the process.
You have to understand, there are still lawyers involved in that issue too.
Well,
We got through this
then-
year, but there's still lawyers involved.
And that's something we should look at, and because to level my understanding, and that's through the settlement, that should not be happening. But there we go, that might be an issue we need to look at.
I think it comes down to also, we may need to go out and look at new professionals, and if professionals aren't going to work with the will of this committee, then they maybe will not be serving this town. That's just an opinion I have, because we were sucked into something there that we shouldn't have been sucked into financially for the town. That should have been solved a lot simpler and easier. Unfortunately, it became what it was.
Well, I'll just reiterate what I've said in meetings for a number of years. I think every 3 years you need to go out and look at all the professionals. And we need our boards and committees to agree to do the same and have a formal RFP process every 3 years. Unless there's something big like the brand, like dam that's coming in, you have the engineer that contract stuff, that's in order, it would jeopardize the town too greatly. But assume that anomaly aside, every 3 years we need to be going out and doing a full RFP on legal, on planner, on engineering, whatever it is, every 3 years. And even if you want to get on a rotating schedule, so 1 year it's legal, the next year it's planning, the next year it's.
We tried that.
Yeah, but we're going to need coordinates, because we're in a position now where with some of the professionals, we have to go hand in hand to some of the board chairs. And if they say no, the way our ordinances are written, we
They
can't
have the final
force it.
say.
Yeah, so we're going to have to change some of the ordinances.
And I, that's, to me, that's money legal, on legal that's well spent.
Yeah.
Because that's setting us up financially for the long term, and it's good governance to be sitting there. And then, even if you keep the same people on for 3 years, they're on notice that they only have a 3-year contract, and there's going to be a formal bid process.
Absolutely. And Glenn, I think you're looking at some of that now as far as what we do with ordinances, which, bring them here, I'll support them 100%. I have no problem with that. It makes a lot of sense.
Mayor, I need to clarify myself. I earlier spoke that there's something in our township code concerning absenteeism with the boards and commissions. It's actually a state law, and I've provided Mr. Johnson with a copy of the statute, and the last page of this law actually deals with absenteeism
Okay,
and the requirement that the chairs are supposed to notify the township.
okay, so you'll take a look at that, Glenn?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm just going to recommend that we consider in the next few months having a work session and having Gisette put together the attendance for last year, specifically, well, for all the boards and commissions. And then we should compare that to the law and see if there was any issues where we're out of compliance with the law.
Great idea.
Does that have to be just for compliance purposes? Because are they considered employees of the town they're on the board and therefore have to be?
No, this was a special state statute that was signed into law by the sitting governor in 2009.
No, I'm talking about a work session.
Uh,
Could you do a work session in public if you're mentioning particular people's names and absenteeism?
I don't know,
Well, that's
I'm not an
Just that's
attorney.
something we just need to verify.
Yeah, I'm not an attorney, so I can't speak to that.
But I think once we have that work session, we'll have a lot more clarity. And if we see issues, we may need to come up with an internal policy here of monthly reporting to us or something out of the least of the board secretaries, they can handle that. If they
Well,
can, it's right.
And we also, the work session doesn't have to be specialized to an individual. I mean, we can have a general, we have a committee and, you know, we don't have a quorum this many nights or this.
We can
There are
identify.
individuals who have missed this many meetings and,
Right.
you know, without mentioning names. And-
Yeah.
Identify chronic absentees.
Right, and that's, I don't think that would be a personnel.
No, except then, no, you'd have to identify that, you'd have to be action taken, and that's the question, is the resulting action. Is that,
But
Well, I think
again,
the action taken is not saying we're going to remove that person. I think the action taken is do we need an ordinance that dictates attendance performance.
which we already,
We're okay with that.
yeah, which makes
We'll
sense.
just see if there's violations, but the action taken does not have to be public.
yeah, so work session, this is just what I'm proposing.
Okay,
If we just work through without naming, you know, we'll say, you know, board member X missed 10 meetings last year and they're violating state law. And then from there, we're going to say, all right, we're going to send this to our attorney, and then from there, we'll figure out what our actions are. There may be another public meeting where we need to notice, there may be a closed session, I'm not sure what happens.
but let's get the picture.
Exactly.
Okay,
No, that's fine.
great idea.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Okay, but back to litigation.
I cut it down to 20, you want to cut down to 20, cut it down to 20.
Yeah, I think it's.
Wash them like that.
You know, one thing I would say though is, you know, we can have all of the oversight that we want to have, but if we've got legal action filed against us, there has to be a response.
Right.
So, you know, whether I can dictate to an attorney that this response has to be briefer than what you're outlining here, you know, I'll give you 2 hours instead of 4, and I don't know how much we can control. You know, if this one particular lawsuit that's cited in Trishka's email has been dragging, I mean, we're all aware of it, and it's taken up, I don't know how many hearings, and may well end up in court. You know,
Is this
if it
the
does go
light
to
show
court,
or something?
there's got to be some preparation.
Well, here, I mean, I think everybody wants to be reasonable. I'm just looking at this as a multiplying effect compared to previous years. Now, if the original request was 50, and the feeling is that there's enough in the pipeline legally that number isn't going to cover it, we can meet them in the middle of 25. I think 20 to start is enough because it's so much more anyway, unless someone can say and break it out by the issue. If in fact there's pending issues that we think are going to break through that, even at 30,000, that's another thing, but I just haven't seen that. I mean, again, the anomaly, and I keep beating that word to death, is that whole issue with the light show is as a First Amendment issue, and we know the players involved with that from the legal stand, was a complete escalation that went above and beyond any sort of reality, beyond some sort of intellectual fantasy that was coming out of the legal aspects of it. And so that's my issue with why I would say less, but one opinion again. But
Let's keep in mind, just because you're sued doesn't mean you have to defend it. You can just sit there and say, we walk away from XYZ issue because it's not worth the cost of defending
But that means we concede, we give in.
Yeah.
In some cases, that is the
That may
defense
work
is
pretty-
conceding,
yeah.
but.
But we would still want Laura's opinion on that.
Yeah, but I also think, that let's say it does break out of this ban, then we have to take monies from something and put it toward it. But unless we think I'm being so unreasonable that that's not an option, and I don't want to go to emergency meetings for funding either, but that's my opinion. Unless you want to say, split it down the middle, they wanted 50, we give them 25, and then walk from it.
Our financial position is such that $5,000 really is critical, so I would say, fine.
So, yeah, and I'm with you. And I don't disagree with anything you guys are saying along. I guess I'll just kind of circle back to, we just talked about a lot here. What are we really going to end up spending for this past year? We're still stuck on that.
I don't know what the outstanding October.
So we're at 13 now. We're at 13 now. All right. I'll gamble on it. I'll gamble on it. I apologize.
All right, so 20 it is. A planning board, and I just got wind of this yesterday, Susan and Dave were supposed to bring this to the committee today. Alan Kurt asked for more money for the engineer than was originally put in the budget.
Did you know that?
No.
I was not.
It came to you and Dave yesterday, 11:53 a.m. And yes, and I only got it because Gisette forwarded it to me. I had no idea. Dave Hoder needs $3,500 more. He's asked for $1,500 for the year. He needs another $3,500 to work on a project. And I don't know if I should really be
Well,
discussing
is that the DOT project? That's what I saw. Well, I think it's a valuable project, but as far as Hoder coming in for another $3,500, which is more than twice his cost, I mean, I don't, that's the first, I don't know if that's.
Well, that's what he's saying it's gonna cost, and if it's gonna cost him $3,500 for that, and he's only asked for $1,500 for the entire year, we're gonna have a problem.
What did we have last year, Fran?
Well, wait, can you just remind me
Sure,
what the
sure.
DOT project is?
What it is that a part of with the future shock of the warehousing and construction that is currently happening as far as retrofitting warehousing and new
It's
warehousing.
the drawing,
It's the Liberty Way.
it's the composite drawing he wants, that composite drawing he wants. That's what it was.
Right, and so that would be the project, which I think is a legitimate project to investigate. Now, is the cost of the drawing, Susan, you're saying, is the
Yeah, what he wants to do, he feels that in order to be able to argue and defend, going after grants and money to build Liberty Way, that there would be an advantage to take all the drawings that the various applicants have done for that part of the township and put them together into one large composite drawing.
Yeah.
That have all the projects that are being proposed on it and the roadways on one drawing, and then there's a budget for that.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
In my personal would be going forward, the value of that project, I think we need to start with the best foot forward. And if it's a compilation of all those drawings, I know, I think Hoder asked Tanner for what he had on it as far as, Liberty Way, as the bridge is concerned. Now, the difference now is it's not just Cranberry we're looking at as far as that project. It would involve East Windsor, Monroe, South Brunswick, because it's a whole, would be a whole new roadway essentially that would hopefully have connectivity to East Windsor, maybe it's 133, and run all the way down to exit 8A. So if, I would say in that respect, I think that's money well spent. Personally, I don't know, I guess we'll find out what we spent on Hoder last year, but if he's $1,500 and
He asked for
But he
$5,000.
asked for an additional $3,500
Yes.
to do that drawing.
Yes,
His original proposal for 213 was 1,500.
1,500. No, 2014, it's 1,500.
and he asked for $5,000 last year?
Yes, he asked for
So it still
5,000.
comes in less?
It comes in the same, 5,000.
Okay,
But I love that's so impactful.
yeah. If he comes in at the same dollar amount as last year, I don't have a problem with that.
It makes sense, because I know now, if you look at the master plan, there's like hand drawing stuff,
Yeah.
lines, and, yeah, it's very unprofessional. I mean, it's hokey, it works at times, but yeah, they're trying to go after big money grants, that's not gonna work.
Well, the genesis of the project, literally, it was myself and others, I think Andy, maybe Richard Price and others were at the meetings with Russ Holt, that also included Denise Peck, who is DOT, who would be one of the persons we have to go to with a formal argument to look for monies, not only for the roadway, but the bridge in particular. And so I think we would need something more than the Saturday Night Live courtroom drawings. We need something that's formal and respectful too.
Okay, I'll add it in.
Good long-term plan.
Okay. Back to the spreadsheet. Let's see. Make this.
Are we moving on to a different section, or you want to take a break?
That's up to Susan. Do you want to take a break?
You don't want your lunch to get cold.
Ready for one? You want to keep going?
Is it a working break?
Yeah, I'm fine with a working break, just to.
A
Let's
working
just
break?
finish,
Let me
let's
take a
just
break.
finish professionals,
Got it.
fire official, and then we'll take a break.
Okay.
Fire official has an increase, that's for some equipment that he needs, and to be honest, fire official collects fees, and so he basically, his budget is much less than his fees are, so he covers it, so.
So it's no taxpayer expenditure, it's all.
Right,
so-
right.
Okay.
Yes, okay, so that takes care of professionals. When we come back, we're done, statutory expenditures are all down and they're beyond my control anyway. It's,
We have no choice there.
right, DCRP, PFRS.
That's $52,000.
That's a nice number.
That's
Yes.
what we say.
Police, we already went over, so when we come back, it's, fire company and first aid. We want to, not that it's increased, but they're being given the max, so it's something you
We
want
need
to
to talk about that.
talk about.
Okay.
Okay.
Tom,
But I think
feel free to join us.
this has to do with